Don't do this. The scream ripped through the dawn mist like a blade through silk. It wasn't the voice of any human girl. It shimmered, half water, half air, vibrating with something older than fear itself. Marcus froze on the riverbank, the knife slipping from his damp hand. The mist around the Abonic River swirled like restless spirits, as though the river had woken and was watching. His chest burned. Each breath felt like drinking cold smoke. Somewhere behind him, Derek's voice came, low, dangerous. Hold her down. But this moment, this scream had begun long before the knife was raised. It started 7 mornings ago. Marcus, the boy who always rose before the village drums, had gone to check his fish traps when he heard the song. It came from the river, soft at first, then swelling until it filled the fog. A voice so pure it bent the air around it, sweet and deadly, like honey poured over a knife. Through the tall elephant grass, he saw her, a woman standing waist deep in the water, her skin gleaming bronze, her hair cascading like molten sunlight. Each movement of her head caught the rising sun and shattered it into 1,000 tiny rainbows. The song called to him, not just to his ears, to his hunger, to the ache of a man born poor and promised nothing. His grandmother's warning whispered from memory. Never listen when the river sings your name, child. The water remembers every thief. He should have run. But he didn't, because hunger is louder than fear. That night, he told Derek what he had seen. Under the old iroko tree, they sat drinking palm wine that burned their throats and blurred their doubts. When Marcus spoke of the woman with golden hair, Derek's eyes glinted like a hyena's in fire. You say her hair shines like real gold? Yes. Then the gods have sent us a gift. Marcus flinched. It's not a gift. It's from the water. And water feeds us, doesn't it? Derek said, grinning. Then we'll feed from it. Above him, a small blue-green bird perched, listening. Its eyes gleamed too humanly bright. When they finished their plan, the bird cried once a sound that wasn't quite natural a word. In the old tongue, uamiri du, the law of living water, whoever takes must pay. Marcus looked up, heart racing. But the bird was gone. Only a single iridescent feather spiraled down, landing between them, shimmering, pulsing faintly like a heartbeat. That night, Marcus couldn't sleep. The river called him in his dreams, its voice soft, patient, cruel. Come back, son of dust. Come take what is not yours. And when he awoke, the sound of the river still filled his ears, not rushing, not calm, but whispering, remembering. At dawn, he rose. The fog hung heavy as guilt. Derek was waiting, knife gleaming. Neither spoke. The river was silent now, as if holding its breath. Something sacred was about to break. Dawn came slow that morning, dragging its blood-red light across the mist. Marcus crouched behind the tall grass, every heartbeat thundering in his throat. The knife in his hand felt heavier than it should, as if the river itself was holding it back. Beside him, Derek whispered, "Quick and clean." No hesitation. The river seemed asleep, calm, perfect. Then she rose. Arya, the princess of the Water Kingdom, though Marcus did not yet know her name. She broke the surface like a prayer. answered golden hair gleaming, skin glowing with life. Her voice filled the air again, singing to the Sunday. But this morning, something was different. Her song carried sorrow, a tremor, a warning. Marcus' hands shook. "She knows," he whispered. "Now!" Derek hissed. They burst through the grass like beasts unleashed. The air split with shouts. The earth trembled under their charge. Arya turned too late. Derek's arms locked around her shoulders. "Please," she cried. "You don't understand. Without my hair, I can never go home again." Her voice struck Marcus like thunder, but Derek barked, "Cut!" Marcus lifted the knife. The golden strands brushed his hand, warm, alive, pulsing faintly, as if each hair contained a heartbeat. He hesitated. Arya's eyes, blue-green like deep water, fixed on his. "If you take this, you take my breath, my life, my name." But the weight of poverty pressed harder than pity. He sliced. The sound was not of hair being cut. It was like tearing silk underwater, like something sacred screaming. Strand by strand, the golden locks fell onto the mud, glowing, writhing like living serpents. The river changed. The wind died. Birds fled the trees. The surface began to churn, first gentle, then violent, until the current twisted itself into a spiral of rage. The water's color deepened to black. Arya's body shuddered. Her song died mid-note. Her bronze skin dulled, her glow extinguished. She fell forward, gasping. When she tried to dive, the water rejected her, spitting her back up, choking her. Derek stuffed the glowing hair into a sack, his grin cracked and wild. "We did it! We'll be rich, Marcus! The river won't miss her!" But Marcus couldn't move. He felt the ground tremble beneath his knees, a pulse, deep and old. He looked at the river. It was no longer just water. It breathed. The mist twisted into faces, ancestors, watchers, silent judges. A voice came from nowhere, from everywhere. "Yumirinu. Whoever takes must pay." The sack of hair twitched in Derek's hands. Something inside hissed. Marcus staggered back, the knife dropping into the mud. Behind him, Arya's whisper floated through the wind, breaking and human now. "You have stolen the key to my world. May the river remember your names." Then the first raindrop fell, though no cloud hung above. It landed on Marcus's shoulder, hot as blood. The river had begun to remember. Far beneath the river, in the kingdom of Okunik, the waters boiled. The coral palace glowed dim blue, alive with whispers. News of the theft spread like lightning through the deep. At the heart of the kingdom, King Poseidon sat on his pearl throne. His eyes, deep as trenches, burned with stormlight. The sacred conch around his neck pulsed faintly. It spoke only when truth demanded to be heard. "Speak, Nia," he said, voice echoing like distant thunder. Arya's friend, trembling, knelt. "Your Majesty, the humans have taken her hair. They cut it from her head." The messenger bird saw them. It was Marcus and Derek, men from the upper village. A murmur rippled through the court, outrage, grief, disbelief. The king's trident struck the floor, sending shockwaves through the water. "The law of living water has been broken. Whoever steals from the river must repay in kind life for life, or deed for deed. He turned to the council of elder spirits, their bodies made of mist and coral light. What shall be done? The eldest spoke, voice ancient and merciless. Let the princess bear the mark of her trespass. She sank to the surface too often, and now the humans have found her. Until the stolen hair is returned by the same hands that took it freely, in repentance she shall walk as exiled, half breathing, half living. Let her feel the hunger of both worlds. The king's face tightened with grief. So be it. Lightning crackled through the water. Arya, now shorn and trembling, appeared before the throne. The king looked at her, his voice heavy as stone. My daughter, you broke the oldest rule, and now you carry the weight of their greed and your disobedience. Until your hair is restored by their blood and remorse, you are banished. Her tears turned to pearls as they fell. Father, I only wanted to sing to the dawn. Intent cannot undo consequence, he said. Go, and may the river's law guide you. Above, in the human world, the curse took form. In the markets of Onitsha, the traders refused to touch the golden hair. It writhed in Derek's bag, glowing faintly, whispering in tongues. It moves, one trader cried. This is river spirit hair cursed. Take it away. By nightfall, rumors spread through the town. 2 men with glowing hair that breathed like snakes. The villagers whispered. The air around Marcus thickened. Derek began to cough not from sickness, but from the river itself. His veins turned faintly blue, his skin wet even when dry. He spoke nonsense in his sleep, babbling of waves, of eyes beneath the current. Marcus could no longer eat, no longer sleep. Every shadow of water reflected Arya's face, not vengeful, just watching, waiting. The law of water had begun its hunt. Each night, Marcus dreamt of standing knee-deep in the river as a voice whispered, You still have time. 7 moons. Return what you took, under oath, or drown with your guilt. He woke, drenched in sweat. Derek laughed it off. Dreams are for cowards. But the river knew, and on the 7th night, the reflection in Marcus's basin was not his own. It was Arya's. Eyes open, unblinking, she spoke through the water's skin. Will you keep running, child of dust, or will you kneel and return what is mine? The 7th moon rose like a wound. Its light was not silver, it was red, deep as spilled wine, trembling on the surface of the Arbonic River. Marcus stood barefoot on the bank, the bag of golden hair clutched to his chest. His shadow trembled on the water, as if afraid to touch it. Behind him, the forest was silent, even the crickets dared not sing. Uku onwa ikechi, the wind whispered. The moon of correction. He knelt. The air smelled of rain and metal. From his pocket, he drew the white cowrie shell, symbol of the water pact. He pressed the blade's edge to his thumb and let blood drip onto the shell. The river rippled once. He raised the shell to the sky. I stole what was not mine, he said, voice shaking. If I lie, let the water take me. If I speak true, let it forgive. That was the awful Miri, the blood oath of water. For a long moment, nothing moved. Then the river answered with a low moan, not of rage this time, but of remembrance. A faint light stirred below, and from the dark, Arya rose. But she was no longer radiant. Her skin was pale, her eyes dimmed, her breath shallow. The water no longer recognized her. Still, even diminished, she was beautiful in sorrow, like a fallen star refusing to go dark. "You came back," she said softly, "when so many would have run." Marcus lowered his head. "I couldn't breathe without hearing you. The river wouldn't let me forget," she nodded. "That is the first sign of repentance, remembrance." Then her gaze shifted past him. Derek stood in the shadows, his body trembling, eyes bloodshot and wild. His skin had taken on a faint green hue. "You brought him," Arya said. "I told him he must return what we took," Marcus answered. "He's afraid." Derek stepped forward, clutching the sack tighter. I came," he stammered. "Isn't that enough?" The river stirred, waves lapping at his feet like warning fingers. Arya's eyes hardened. "No man can deceive water. Speak the words and let the river decide." Derek hesitated. The current rose higher. The cowrie shell in Marcus' hand glowed, reflecting the moon. Marcus whispered, "Urgent. Say it, brother. The oath before it's too late." But greed dies slow. Derek looked at the bag, the glowing strands whispering inside, and snarled, "No river commands me. I took it, and I can sell it. Your curse means nothing." The moment he spoke, the water struck. The river rose like a living wall, crushing sound and air. A roar echoed, half thunder, half voice. Almiri knew whoever takes must pay. Derek screamed as the current wrapped around him, coiling like arms, dragging him down. The bag tore open, golden hair spilling across the surface like 1,000 suns bleeding into the water. Then both were gone. The river fell silent again. Marcus knelt in the mud, shaking, soaked with rain and tears. Arya stood before him, eyes shimmering faintly. "The river has taken one dead," she whispered, "but another remains the dead of restoration." She reached into the water, gathering the floating strands. "Walk with me, Marcus. What you stole with greed, return now with faith." He followed her into the river. The water rose around him, cold, thick, yet strangely calm. When it reached his chest, he felt the current pass through him, cleansing, cutting, forgiving. And as he watched, the hair began to glow again, no longer in fury, but in peace, drawn gently to Arya's hands, as if eager to go home. Deep beneath the waves, the coral palace of Okunik blazed with light. Every creature of the water had gathered, the dolphins, the whales, the glowing fish of the abyss, all waiting for the return of their princess. Arya entered the throne hall slowly, her movements heavy with both grace and sorrow. Behind her walked Marcus, human lungs straining against the pressure, the blood oath protecting him from drowning. King Poseidon rose from his throne. "You have come, daughter of the deep, and you have brought the thief." Marcus fell to his knees, unable to meet the king's eyes. "I have come to return what I stole." Arya lifted the bag of golden strands. They shimmered softly, alive again, cleansed by his repentance and Derek's death. "The ancestors have spoken," the king said. voice trembling with power. They say true magic lies not in taking, but in returning, not in conquest, but in contrition. He took the hair, his hands glowing with ancestral light. Slowly, reverently, he placed the strands upon Arya's shorn head. For a heartbeat, nothing. Then the miracle began. The golden strands wove themselves into her scalp, alive, bright, growing longer with every breath, a river of light flowing back to its source. The entire palace shimmered, the corals sang, the whales hummed their deep hymns. Arya gasped, and the sound that escaped her lips was no longer human. It was the voice of the ocean returning home. Her hair blazed like dawn under the sea. Her eyes filled again with that impossible blue-green fire. "Father," she whispered, touching her hair. "It's whole." "No," the king said gently. "It is changed, as are you. The river does not erase what happened. It remembers, and remembrance is its forgiveness." He turned to Marcus. "You have fulfilled the oath, but the law still binds you. From this day, you are no longer of land nor sea. You are a keeper, one who guards the balance. You shall walk the riverbanks and speak the warning." Marcus bowed, tears streaming. "I will serve." The king raised his trident. A mark appeared on Marcus' wrist, a spiral of light shaped like a shell. "This is the seal of remembrance," Poseidon said. "May your blood remind men that water forgets nothing." The ocean rejoiced, but Arya's gaze lingered on Marcus. "You saved me with your sorrow," she said softly. "Let it guide others." Then she turned, swimming upward, her song rising with her. Stronger, purer, forgiving. Above, the dawn broke over the Abunic River. The water shimmered gold once more. Marcus stood on the bank, staring into its depths. Beneath the surface, faint lights moved the celebration of a world he could no longer join, but forever protect. He whispered the vow of water. "Nekka miri," to live like water, to cleanse, to remember, to flow. And the river whispered back, gentle this time, "Umiri nud," whoever takes must pay. Whoever repents shall be carried home. Marcus smiled through the tears. A guardian now, a man, remade by the mercy of water. Morning broke over the Abunic River like the first breath after a long drowning. Mist drifted above the surface, soft, silver, alive, carrying a melody faint as memory. It was her voice, Arya's. She sang again, not of beauty or grief, but of balance of things lost and returned, of wounds that learned to heal. Her song rippled across the river, rising with the dawn wind, reaching even the furthest huts of the village. Children stopped playing to listen. Old women raised their heads from cooking fires, eyes wide with recognition. They said, "The river sings again. The curse has lifted." But Marcus knew it was more than that. He stood knee-deep in the shallows, the water lapping gently at his scarred wrist where the shell mark glowed faintly beneath his skin. The sound of the song passed through him, not like before, not to lure, but to remind. Each note felt like forgiveness and warning bound together. Remember, water forgets